Hi everyone, great to be here in sunny Moscow. Hope everyone's having an interesting and successful day. My name is Ido Bar-Oz and I'm leading mobile growth for Kayak. For those who don't know Kayak, Kayak is the world's leading travel search engine. I just probably need to get this one before I start. Sorry. Carolina? Where's the, oh, okay. Is it this one? Okay, great. So Kayak is the world's leading travel search engine. Our website and mobile apps search hundreds of travel sites at once to give travelers the information they need before they book their trip, while planning their trip, and later on throughout their trip. We're focusing on flights, hotels, and car rentals, and we develop tools and features to assist travelers find what they need. We process more than 1.5 billion searches annually, and our mobile apps have been downloaded more than 55 million times. So Kayak is part of a bigger group. We are part of the Priceline Group, the world's leader in online travel. The Priceline Group operates through 6 primary brands, so Booking.com, Agoda, Rental Cars, OpenTable, and Kayak, obviously. And we have 2 subsidiary brands, Zvoodoo and Czech Felix, that operates in the German and Austrian market. Sorry, that way. And I would like to open the discussion with this slide. This is from Ido Travel Report, and it basically, when they ask travel brands, what is your biggest opportunity for 2016, 2017, most of them said mobile. And please notice that mobile comes first before social media, before content and digital marketing, artificial intelligence, virtual reality. So we have some big names on that list. There's a very big technologies here, and they still voted mobile as #1. And what we're trying to do today together, we'll try to understand why mobile is such a big opportunity. What are the challenges around mobile that those travel brands are dealing with, like Kayak, and what are some of the solutions that we see here in the market. And you can notice that there's even a bigger opportunity in Europe than in the US, and we also try to understand why. So here you can see the split of digital media time spent by platform. So you see that mobile grew from 51% to 67% in the last few years. This is true for the US. You can see the desktop time is actually decreasing. And the predictions say that, we will keep seeing those trends. You can see the split between mobile app to a smartphone app. Mobile here includes tablet, smartphone, and other mobile devices. Here you can see that more minutes are spent engaging with travel content on mobile devices than in desktop in the US. In Europe, we still see that desktop is the most dominant platform for travel brands, but we see that mobile grows way faster than desktop. So we think we're going to see a very similar graph to this in Europe as well. So we are seeing that travelers and people that want to book trip, they spend much more time on mobile than they used to, and mobile is growing very fast. And we want to understand, okay, then what happens with mobile bookings? Do people actually also book on mobile, or they still book on desktop? Because we want to understand what's going on with those users and what's going on with this traffic, and if this channel is ROI positive like other channels, like other platforms. And here we can see that, it's a very impressive increase. So we see that year over year, there's a big increase towards mobile, and mobile and smartphone accounts for 19% from total online bookings. And the question is, and that's the real question for travel brands, are mobile bookings growing fast enough? So we are all engaged more on mobile, we all spend more time on mobile. The question is, do we actually book on mobile, or we go to another platforms? And the answer is that it's not growing fast enough, and especially not in Europe. So there is a big increase year over year in mobile bookings, but it's not correlated to the big increase that we see with time spent on mobile. And this can tell you, what's one of the biggest challenges the travel brands are dealing with on mobile. So in Kayak, we see that 1/3 of our traffic comes in on mobile, and Criteo said that 20% from total online bookings are mobile bookings. So you see that there is a gap here. And you can see here that mobile conversion rate, this is from to Travel report. Mobile conversion rate are still low, and they're especially low in the Europe. So you can see that in UK, in Germany, travelers are much likely to still convert and book on desktop than on mobile. So the question is, with those low conversion rates, where our travelers go to? And the answer is probably on some other platforms. This is in the UK, and you can see the desktop is still very dominant platforms for people to search trips and book trips. You can see that, mobile is increasing, and that's also a very nice percentage. And tablet has actually a very impressive percentage with 63%, but the absolute numbers here are probably lower than the other platforms. So for brands, and I think this is the important point, because this is not only for travel. So for brands that are not only doing mobile and not only mobile company, the comparison itself to other platforms is challenging. And the question is, okay, do we have the right tools for user acquisition, for monetization? Are we working with the right partners on each one of the platform, to scale the business, or do we need a different approach on mobile? And the answer is that we probably need a different approach because, again, we're comparing this to other platforms. And what I would like to suggest for brands here or companies that not only doing mobile is, first of all, find the value proposition of your mobile apps compared to the other platforms and promote this. So this is a successful App Store optimization experiment that we did on mobile. And we chose to highlight 3 of the key features that we find on our mobile apps, and they're not available or not working the same on the other platforms we have, like desktop. And we chose Price Alert, that you can save your flight or your hotel that you want, and you will get notified. You will get a push notification when the price for the flight or hotel you want change. So that works very good with our mobile app. Another thing we did is promote the mobile rates that we have. So we have different rates for hotels on our mobile app. And trips, which is a feature that our users really like. You can save, the flight and the hotel that you booked, and you can see your itinerary, and you can see the directions for your hotels, and everything is organized very nicely in your app. So people use it a lot on the go. And we saw a great performance on this experiment. So after changing the screenshots on some of the stores, we saw a big uplift in the amount of installs that came in by simply promote the value proposition. So those are some of the challenges and solutions around comparing to other platforms. But what are the challenges we see specifically on mobile? And challenge number 1 that I think a lot of you guys that working on the mobile apps are dealing with is who to work with. This is a landscape shot from Interactive. You can see the monetization global landscape and the mobile video global landscape. And you see there's a lot of companies here on the list. So who should I work with? There's a lot of acquisitions in the market, it's true, but it's still very confusing. And especially when you're a big brand, you get approached by a lot of companies and you need to find the right partners. You would probably not work with everyone on that list. So when I need to choose the right partner, those are some of the things I look at. So first of all, I ask them, what kind of ad format do you specialize in? So different companies specialize in different ad formats. Yes, there are some networks that, do all of them, rewarded video, native video, you name it. But I think that some companies start from a specific ad platform, and it says a lot on their business. So that's the first question I would ask. If you're a gaming app and you want to work with rewarded video, Fiber, or Supersonic can be great partners. But if you want to run native video ads on your app for monetization needs, you're probably better off with, Facebook. Ad fraud, it's a huge topic in our industry. There's a lot of people that talked about it today, like Adjust and other lectures that I heard. And I think I would suggest to work directly as much as you can. You cannot always do this with first-party data partners. So, work directly with the social media platform, understand how their algorithm works. and try to work directly with the publishers if you can. Of course, that on some cases you would still need to work with networks, and it's easier to manage on scale. So make sure you have the right attribution partner and that network is aware to the ad fraud in the industry and try to understand how they approach it. And pricing models. So obviously, CPI, CPM, CPV are very popular pricing models, but the industry is looking more and more about engagement, about post-install events. So try to find the partners that you can have this kind of deals with and push them towards that cost per action, whatever that action means, and work on that base. When you run in user acquisition with different sources, I would suggest to look not at the cost of the install, but rather the quality of traffic. So compare the retention rate between different providers, see how many users come back from this network to this network, and try to stick with the sources that give you good quality users that actually come back and use your product. Challenge number 2. This was a very big challenge, I guess, for a lot of people in the room, and also when I started working for Kayak. And the challenge is there's so much data in the industry, and especially on mobile. People say that mobile is the most measurable platform ever, and they're probably correct. Because we collect things on mobile we do not collect on other platforms, and this includes location data. And there's a lot of great things you can do with location. For example, I know when user is traveling, so I know, when user is on the go. I know if the user is living in an area with higher income or, lower income. So there's a lot of things you can do with location data, and the potential is huge. So how do we use all of this data, and how we use it for our marketing campaigns and for our monetization campaigns? That's the real question. So the first thing that I would suggest is think about what you want to track about those users. Here are some of the things we're tracking at Kayak. So we see, for example, what is the city that they searched in the hotel, what is the departure date, what is the check-in date, number of travelers. And then what we want to do, we want to use all these data points that we collect about our users, and we want to, build different segments. So maybe we want to build a segment of frequent travelers, and maybe we want to build a segment of users that have the app or don't have the app or save the trip, so we can engage with them tomorrow and offer them a better user experience. And then we want to be able to push that to some of the partners that we work with. This is a push notification that Kayak sends you if your gate changed for your flight, to make sure that you make it on time. This is also an example for personalized push messages. So you can see, for example, that you can automate the message. You would use here, you see, first name, and for example, for logged in user, I know what is your name. I can put in the destination here and automate the message, so it would feel like a personal experience for each one of my users. This is from AppBoy. They have a great interface for this. So the solution I would suggest dealing with data, turning data to actionable insight, is set up the right infrastructure. Make sure you have a good attribution partner. Make sure you have the right DMP, a CRM platform, automated platform, because if you want to do it on scale, you need to have an automated solution. Then you need to go beyond tracking the install. So, think about the events you want to track. Make sure you collect all the right data points that you can utilize later on in your marketing and your monetization campaigns. Then you can build the user segments from those data points. And if you can leverage location data, then that's a pretty nice spot. Challenge number 3, and I guess everybody here knows this, and everybody that works with mobile apps, is dealing with high user acquisition costs. And the solution I would suggest to this is diversify your marketing channels. So user acquisition, CPI campaigns is only one way to acquire users. Email campaigns can be a great solution. If you have a budget, if you're a big brand, TV can make sense. And partnerships is a great way, actually, to also acquire users. And eventually, what we want to get is this. So what is this? This is value creation circle. So when we're talking about the app economy in general, from an app developer point of view, I want to get to this graph. So I want to have a new user, and I want to look at the mobile bookings or in-app purchases, if we're a gaming app, and make sure the conversion rates are pretty high. So make sure, many or some of my users are making enough purchases, or the mobile conversion rates looking good. Improve the product, maybe record user sessions through video sessions. There's the company called Upsy that's doing a great job on this, and try to improve the funnel. For users that didn't do mobile bookings, I want to get a chance maybe to monetize them through ads and show them the relevance ad. And for this, I need to make a good use with data, right? So I need to work with data, understand the segments, understand my users. And when I look at this, I also want to optimize the user acquisition cost, obviously. I want to look at the different channels, make sure that, I pick the right channels, make sure that I maximize the cost or reduce the cost on some of those channels. If I'm doing a good job on this, I will get to a higher ROI. It means that the return on investment from my users is better through mobile bookings and through ads monetization. That will make me to increase and acquire more and more users that will make more bookings, that will monetize better, and will optimize the cost, show them the right ads at the right time because I'm using data, and growing the whole product. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day.
Thank you, Ido. Hello. Thank you, Ido. Okay, any questions? We can also ask questions in Russian, and I will translate it. Yep, you're pretty good at questions.
I can ask it in English. Thank you, great presentation. And I want to ask, you talked about what partners to choose, what platforms to select, but what about making judgments? You have, for example, some data, some states or events, and do you have, a separate team of, data scientists or some kind of specialists that make this judgment and make the growth happen?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because I think it's a. The question is basically in what data to rely, right? So even if I have the team in-house and they're doing a great job and they're a great analyst and data scientist, do the data they have is the data I need to base my decisions on? Is this the right data to work with? So in Kayak, obviously, we do have a team, that's working on the data, and I guess bigger companies can allow them to have this. But we also have external partners. So we're working, for example, with AppsFlyer on attribution, and we look at their data and in post-install events or installs that coming in. And I think when you have a team in-house that look at data, it makes things easier because you probably defined the parameters or the KPIs that you want to look at. When you just work with external partners, I think you first need to decide what are the KPIs, what are the metrics for yourself, and make sure to work with the right partners that can provide this data.
And one more fast question. When I personally work as lead developer in a startup, and currently in the round we are not going to have a whole lot of a team of data scientists or analytics. And is it safe to outsource this judgment to some kind of trusted partner of some repute and to rely on this judgment?
Yeah, I think when it comes to, for example, attribution, definitely, I think the companies the companies that are leading this space is doing a great job. And I think, they have all the right tools. And even, you see, bigger companies like us still use them because they have, this right solution for mobile apps that works. In that sense, yes. I would, if you want to acquire users, I would suggest to better understand about ad fraud. How does it work? Why some of the data that you see can not be the right data. But that's, for install, post-install events. For, I guess, revenue data and all of the things that you have to measure internally, in-app events, you have to define to yourself how you want to measure it.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more questions, guys? Yeah. Oh, okay. First here.
Ido, you mentioned that you prefer to work with new channels on CPA model, but do you provide them all data and include it, how much money do you earn, so they're able to work efficiently on their side?
So you have two options. You can optimize based on revenue, and you can optimize based on actions. So for actions, you don't have to share your revenue data with external providers if you don't want to. If you want to work based on revenue and ROI, then you would probably need to share this revenue data with external providers and optimize based on this. On rev share model? We work, so the CPI, that's what I presented it. I think that's the right model that works for us.
Hi, Ido. My name is Alex. I wanted to ask you, what's your view of Russian OTA market? And do you have a plan to compete against aviasales in Russia?
I mean, you can approach, so I'm actually not working day to day with the Russian market, so I'm not super involved. I'm here with the country manager from Russia, Vera. You can approach after if you have, specific questions.
Vera, where are you? Can you stand up? Is she here?
Vera? Oh, here you are.
There
Okay,
she is.
so you can get me and Vera after and ask whatever you want.
Cool. I also have a question, quick one. I don't know. I mean, a lot of guys, are asking or telling that they're working with like influencers. It's such a big hype right now. Do you guys work with influencers? Have you tried it? Does it work?
So I think when we're talking about big companies, I think some of the solutions have to be scalable and have to be measurable. And I think, we're focusing on working with the big platforms now on mobile and understand how does that work.
Okay, cool. One more question. Okay.
Hi, I wanted to ask you about the video advertising. It's a really big trend right now in 2017. So how are you guys gonna work with it this year?
I think mobile video is a great format for many companies. It's a format that obviously proved himself. There's a few ways to work with a video. I think that question you need to ask yourself is what kind of vertical you're in. For gaming apps, we see a lot of rewarded video that works very well on monetization side and maybe for acquiring users. For other utility apps, I think, native video could be a great format to work with. Video in general is by far, one of the leading ad formats in general. And I think we see it everywhere in the industry.
Cool. Thank you very much, Ido. I think it was a great round of questions. And thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to be here. Thanks, guys.
Awesome.